Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and let me recognize everyone this morning. I'm going to be very brief. First, I want to really recognize and commend the governors and the chief administrators for their presentations. These presentations, there have been a number of good steps. There is progress. There are serious challenges, but there is progress. And if we were to put these reports together as one report, you would see that there have been significant efforts at the state level and also from the national level to at least address some of the resolutions of last year's governors forum or the 7th governors forum. So this needs to be recognized. Number two, I also want to say something as I felt that actually contributed to the difficulty in implementation of some of the activities. Because if we notice, there's the issue of funding and resources. But then we do this governors forums, we do it in November. We have already passed the budget. So whatever resolutions that are passed here, maybe some of them will enter next year's budget next July. So I think that also presents a challenge, because if we are coming up with the resolutions and we have already made the budget, it becomes difficult and challenging to play about with the resources and see how that the resolution can be implemented and resourced. And with this, I want to come to the issue of, there was a comment yesterday. The question came because of salaries. All the governors expressed real serious concerns about the salaries. We're expressing the same at this level. But then that prompted the first deputy speaker to make a comment on the budget performance of last year. And here, as one of the agencies, the spending agencies, I felt that I needed to say something about that, because the statement said that many of the government institutions, including some of the states, have overspent. My institution is one of the institutions that have been named as institutions that have overspent. I explained this in Parliament, and I'm going to explain this again. And it's good my colleague, the Minister of Finance, is here. It is our view that that the report that came from Finance does not really reflect the budget performance. Why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because some of the issues were highlighted yesterday by some of the speakers, and especially the presenters from the states. Let me just talk about my institutions. Our budget consisted of Chapter 1 and the use of goods services. Capital, very limited. We're struggling. We have been struggling. We have Chapter 1 have not been realized for almost the whole year. So whatever received is by way of arrears. So if Chapter 1 has not performed, where does the overspending come from? And Chapter 2 has not also performed as far as some of our institutions is concerned, because we're not receiving the funding for the use of goods and services monthly. Not only that, what we receive is a fraction, maybe 2/3 of what is budgeted for, sometimes less. So this is a real question. My explanation has been that there are two things that might have affected and reflected the overspending. And this would be probably the inflation and the performance of our currency against the hard currency. That probably might have had an impact and give the impression of overspending. This is one. I'm just escalating. The minister is here. He will help us. The second would be that the increment, the salary increment of last year might have not been reflected, and that is also affected by the inflation and so on, and the performance of our currency. So this, for me, would be the explanation, because I don't believe that the Ministry of Finance would just come up with the data without any basis. There must be basis as to why they came up with that data. But that impression really does not reflect, because here, from all your challenges that you've raised as governors, the issue of responding as law enforcement agencies has been challenging because of inadequate resources, and so on and so forth. And the list is long, and I don't want to dwell on it, but I just want to really highlight that that I don't feel that people need to go out from here with the impression that this overspending is basically not adhering to budget discipline from some of us, these institutions. So this is one thing. There was a question on the PIT. I'm not going to talk about the rest of the PIT, but the one that concerns the law enforcement. I think it was resolved last year here that they should continue to use it for them to respond to security situations. And this continued to be the situation with us in the interior. So any PAT, personal income tax, that comes from the police is not sent to the center. Prisons is not sent to the center. They are to remain as it was resolved here. I'm not going to speak about the rest because, like I said, the Minister of Finance is here, and so on. Now, let me come to some individual things. And this is important because the sharers just spoke now about a recommendation of the police. And I want to really comment specifically the recommendations that came from the governor of Warab State. And he talks about livestock police. We can discuss this idea. Remember, I said that there's going to be a conference starting on Tuesday in which we are all going to participate. And in this conference, there are proposals to do with how to address this. And one of the proposals is to do with something that has been mentioned, maybe the community police. Then we can elaborate on it and see how this is going to function at the local level, and so on. There are many experiences that we can learn from the experience of Sudan. They have a community police that moves with the nomads. And these police move with the nomads. They are actually from amongst the nomads themselves. And whenever they come to enter our borders, they leave their weapons and whatever else, and they just enter South Sudan without those weapons. So this is to do with that specific recommendation yesterday, and it's something that we can explore in the security reform, in the security sector reforms conference. Now, the extension of the R-axis gives us an opportunity. In the reports of the governors, we've seen a lot of activities, but there was 1 or 2 reports where there's a lot of highlights on the visits. And I want to really say something about this. These visits are very critical and very crucial, because these visits are dissemination of the agreement and the peace agreement, and talking to the citizen that there is a new dispensation in the country, that they are expected to live in harmony, that there is an agreement that is being implemented, that we are going to be moving on soon. In 2 years, we are going to have elections, and so on and so forth. So I want to encourage the governors, because dissemination of peace should not be left to the national level alone and the peace ministry. It is a function with you, the governors and your commissioners, because the people are with you. The majority of the people are with you. So even if we come and we visit, we may stay in the capital, we may see 2 counties, but we may not traverse all the counties. So please do an allocation and emphasis on those visits, but let them be focused seriously on really enhancing peace. And also, you can work very closely with some of the national institutions, like the constitution-making institutions, like the election institutions, like for you to disseminate some of the things that they have as well. And this is very, very critical, because funding is very scarce. We have so little, but we have so much to do. We have so little to do what we need to do with. And that way we would help ourselves. I believe it is an achievement, and it should be recognized as such. Now, I want to really come in on the issue of law enforcement and criminal activities that are cross borders, cross state borders. I want to suggest to the governors that maybe you need to think differently in how you deal with this. I think partnership between neighboring states in this is critical. You really need to partner together, and you need to come up with strategies together. For example, there is nothing preventing Central Equatoria, Jungule State, Eastern Equatoria to sit together, develop a strategy on how to deal with these phenomena. The phenomena that are happening on national highways, affecting the citizens of these states. A common approach is very important. Same, unity, Ruang, Warap, Lake states. There's nothing preventing them to create a union for them to deal with these difficult security issues. Instead of us coming here and each governor is defending his own state or his own administrative area, it's not going to work. It's not going to work like that.
Time up.
Thank you. I'll just conclude.
Conclude with Abyei police.
Yes. Yes. The other day I made a statement about the issue of the police in Abyei. And we are having discussions and so on. But also, Your Excellency, the understanding that is there, the agreement that are there, and it's good that we have the team here the Abyei committee also restrains us a little, because what we have there is not called the police. But that does not prevent us to work on something, and we've been discussing with the commissioner. So, and we will continue this, and I think it's best we do it not to discuss it in this forum, but we'll come up with what we need to do together. But already the commissioner of the police came with a proposal, and we are engaging and we are discussing that proposal.
Is Teny?
Huh?
Teny, is it dissolved? Because there was a police that was deployed in Abyei, predominantly from the Abyei.
They're there, and these are the
young
people. They are there, Your Excellency.
Who turned their names to be Teny?
Yeah, they are there, and this is what we want to actually determine, and how we can professionally organize. How we can professionally organize them. We have had some very serious incidences in the last few weeks in Abyei. People were attacked, or actually cells were attacked, and we have also people belonging to us in the organized forces met their fate and so on. So we are taking the thing very, very, very serious, and we will see. So the Teny is still there. It is still there.
But has it become a militia, or is it a police?
Can I refrain from answering that in this forum?
Or it will be answered by...
No, the answer is with me, Your Excellency.
Not with the...
No, it's not with the chief administrator. It's with me. Even the Minister of Local Government is here. I also would want to refrain from answering that question, because we are working on something, Your Excellency.
Okay, so well, I can say it has become a militia. Because it was the one involved in the conflict with the Twitch.
It's the same problem we have in South Sudan, Your Excellency. And all of these issues, actually, it's not just the Abyei one. If you recall, the governors here presented, and they said when we send the police to respond to a situation, if they find that the person there is their clanman or a relative, they shift and they become part of whatever conflict ensuing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.